Welcome to Hairblazers, the podcast where we empower you to disrupt the beauty industry starting with your chair and your salon. You can focus on running your business and tune in here to find out how to keep it moving forward. We hope you'll enjoy today's conversation about why Instagram is still the best platform for your salon and your stylist to be on, and simple, actionable steps you can take to drive people into your door in your local community.
I'm Roberto Sonopoli, owner of Verde Salon and the Aveda Institute Winnipeg.
I'm Naomi Breen. I'm the marketing manager for the Verde Salon Group and for the Aveda Institute Winnipeg. And today we're joined by a very special guest. He is the founder of Elevate Hair, the creative director of Neill Corp, a DJ, and Aveda's North American director of social media, Tatum Neill.
And a Libra and my address. No, it's so many titles. It's like
yeah,
crazy.
Whatever else you want to throw in there. We're happy to have it.
Welcome, Tatum. Great to have you here today. Thank you for being here with us.
I've enjoyed my day with you guys. Great team, great class. Feeling a little high from it. It's great.
It's amazing.
Yeah, great energy in the space.
Totally. Beautiful space.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to start out talking a little bit more about you and your journey in the industry, because you've had, as we can tell from your list of titles, you've had, you have a lot of different things that are kind of in your wheelhouse. So I'd love to hear how you got started.
Well, I mean, so I sort of was born into the industry. So my family has been operating distribution business since the 40s. My dad had 7 kids. We all did our own things. I think all of us went to college. Yeah. I went to college too. I went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, got a degree in environmental policy, and then came back home after school. Did like a little mini internship with the local EPA in North Carolina. Came home and was working with salons on education on how to be more energy efficient, eco-friendly. This was like back in the early 2000s. And in doing so, I just was around a lot of hairdressers. And in college, I'd never had that experience of paying for a haircut. So eventually I got tired of paying money for cheap haircuts when I could have been using that on beer. And so I just shaved my head, and that was a much better college haircut for me. But when I got home, I could like get my hair done, and then I was coloring it like crazy stuff. So I'm walking in the salons with like purple mohawks and wild stuff. And they're like, no, you maybe should be a hairdresser with this whole vibe.
This is giving us hairstylist energy.
1,000,000%. I get it. And so I kind of knew I had like maybe a little bit of a hair inclination. I cut my girlfriend's hair in college. Thank God, I knew a little enough to like make sure her hair was wet, because I just got a straight razor from like the
oh boy,
like the drugstore, and like gave her a bob, but I couldn't graduate her layer. So we went to her salon and went to her hairstylist to kind of like sort the back out, and her hairdresser was the owner and offered me a job as an intern, and I was maybe going to get my license and all this thing. And I'm like, well, no. Carolina is way too hard for that. I can't do both. But I kind of like kept that to myself, because my mom was like, oh, I don't like you in the industry. My dad was like, you need to do hair. And so it was like this little dark secret, like maybe I could do hair. So this is not, I'm imagining that hairdressing is like small town America behind the chair. And I'm seeing it now like more like a type of art. And my mantra, because I minored in fine art in school, was like, if I could create social change through art, music, and fashion, like that would be it. Like, how could I do that? So there was this kind of moment where I was like, okay, I could actually go get this license. And that'd be like my side hustle. I was super naive about what it would take to be a hairdresser.
Yeah. But it seems like these opportunities kept coming up for you.
It kept being like the world was like, you should do hair.
It kept bringing you back.
You should do hair, yeah. And then I did really well in school. I ended up working for Frederick Fekkai in New York afterwards. And then I did most of my time as a hairdresser at Nick Arrojo's salon, Arrojo Studio. And I spent about almost 10 years there. Went through his training program, was one of his platform artists, and also his DJ. So he would do shows, and I've been DJing since 99. So a DJ came before hair. And so I had this whole like world of like going to hair shows, DJing, New York. And right when I was really having a good time, my family drugged me back to New Orleans, kicking and screaming. And I was behind the chair, and I missed that energy of like being in front of a group, teaching, and being so like more than just behind the chair. So I started Elevate Hair as a concept in the salon that was like just trying to do something like educational with other people. And I thought it was important to sort of get outside of my box, like literally salon across the street, closer than this building is over here. I see their clients, I see the staff, I see the building, never been in the door. So I went into the door and I said, hey, we've got a little jam happening. I would love for you to come next door to our salon, Paris Parker, and just do some hair and we'll hang out. And we did education. And then one day I made a DJ mix. And I'm like, okay, let's listen to this instead of talking. There's like 10 people in the room. No big deal. And I dropped the mix. And I don't remember if the mix was good or not. But what I remember is I did the best hair demo of my life. And I'd done hundreds and hundreds of hair demos. We need to not talk. We just need to have good music on, focus on the hair, and then later, do the talking or not, just like make it about the hair. That started there, 5 people, 10 people, it grew. And then we started taking on the road and allowing other people from Houston, Nashville, Toronto, literally all over the country at this point. We go in, we set up a stage. I bring my DJ or I DJ because the music is really important, and just gives people a neutral platform to express themselves and do them. And it's so rewarding. You saw the show in New Orleans, like
It was incredible.
people put their heart and soul into just that one moment, that one haircut, that one style. And there's really no other opportunity to do that. There's only so many product companies that have platform positions. Yes, we have social media, and that's a great platform for people, but to get in front of a live audience and do hair, there's just not a lot of opportunity. And that's been the most rewarding thing I've ever done, is building a community where someone from Aveda, from a Paul Mitchell, from whoever, whatever account, can come in and just for one moment be a hairdresser. And for the audience, they get to see us perform in our like peak moment in the flow, because we're not bothered by words. We can actually just perform at the highest level. They're going to have fun. The music's fun. They're going to have a few drinks. And what happens in that moment at that elevate only exists in that space and time. So if you're not there, there's no way to recreate it. And there's no way to sort of see it unless you're there.
And even the energy that the audience brings to the show too, it impacts it.
Yeah, because it's badass. I mean, that people are doing really cool stuff that you don't see in the salon. And let's be frank, like the music is fun.
Yeah.
When you hear Juvenile, you cannot help but back that ass up. It's
You
just,
have to.
It's just a thing.
You have to, Tatum. Just to dive a little bit deeper and elevate. First off, congrats. It's obviously really taken off. I've had the opportunity to be at a few shows now. Energy is always great. The atmosphere is great. The crowd is great. And of course, the hair is great. Music is really good too, by the way. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Tell us what, at this point in time now, your brand is, it's really built itself. It has a following. What impact do you believe that Elevate has had on our industry?
For the show, I hear 2 things. One, people are so grateful for the opportunity just to be on the stage, have the platform. No one else offers them that. No one. And the other thing I hear is that people are like, this community needed this. There's something about just the nature of salons, brands, competition. We fragment ourselves. And deep down inside, we don't crave that. We crave unity. And how I think about it is this. If we, as a hair community, an international, global hair community, could somehow form a community cohesively and be together, we could share any message we wanted with the entire world in 6 to 8 weeks.
Because everyone gets their hair done.
Everyone gets their hair done. There's not a lawyer, a doctor, a school teacher that literally a politician, business person that has that power. We do, because literally everyone in the world gets their hair done. So the idea is there and it's tangible. We just have to figure out how to bring the community together. And so on a micro level, Winnipeg needs a community event. Denver, San Francisco, New York, we all need these community events to get together and just kind of drop everything. Hey, let's just be artists tonight. And then we can go back to being in competition tomorrow, because that's the reality of it. But people really crave that. And those 2 things I wasn't really expecting.
Yeah, even you going to that salon across the street, that's a boundary that a lot of people don't ever cross. And I think that's such a powerful thing, because stylists are building these really deep relationships and connections, especially when somebody's been coming back to see you even a few times. But, people come back to see their stylist for up to like their entire life. Like that is such a powerful relationship to foster. So Tatum, obviously social media is a big component of Elevate and also a big component of everything that you do.
And just life.
Today, because we're people alive in 2023.
Sure.
Exactly. But you really witnessed the transition of the industry to from pre-social media to today, where social media plays such an integral role in success. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your experience of working behind the chair kind of during that shift.
So actually, Nick Arojo was the first one to kind of really get me plugged into it. He was working with a social media branding company, and this is when Facebook was really the dominant force, and Instagram had just kind of come out. And so I was very progressive in acknowledging that very early on. And then when we started Elevate, actually, Garrison, my brother, was like, hey, we got to have an Instagram page for this. And somehow Elevate Hair was available. And so he was like, he started the page and put some hair on there. And he's like, you got to like feed this thing. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I started feeding it. I'm really good friends with Gerard and Randy and the crew from Hairbrained. And they were already doing social media in a big way, and they mentored me in a lot of ways. Like, you know, if I forgot to tag an artist or just something, they would hit me up, hey, you forgot to tag this artist. Oh, and then I would go run and tag the artist. And so I just kind of was watching what they were doing, but I was really paying attention to my own insights and analytics. Did this photo did well? Like, I like a lot more stuff than we feature on the page. Sometimes we would feature updo maybe that I thought was really cool, and it would do terrible. Like, people did not like it. And so even though I liked it, I had to go, okay, well, it's not doing as well as this mullet, so let me just lean into the mullet. And in doing that, it really helped me understand that it's not about me, it's about them, it's about the audience. What does the audience want? And then from that, I was able to kind of like figure out things were going to be cool, like calling out that mullets were going to be a thing. Like, I feel like I did that forever ago, like 7 years ago.
Nailed it.
And it is, and so like, and it wasn't that I'm like some genius. It's like, I'm just seeing in real time what's happening with the likes. So just paying attention to the audience, obviously having an eye and appreciating it, I got to work with Antoinette Beenders a lot. The director was the creative director of Ada and still like the goddess of Ada. Working with her, seeing her refined eye, understanding fashion, working with Nick and seeing his kind of like way he handles shows and aesthetics, and then just being plugged into the broader world of hair. It really helped me see what was good and what was maybe not good. And then just getting the immediate feedback of the like really helped curate the page. And then leaning into the community, and we were able to grow that page from 0 to over 200,000 followers. And I think we'd be at 300,000 today if Instagram didn't change the algorithm back last year in January, where they pivoted immediately to Reels and sort of did whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's something, it's great that you mentioned that. I think that that's an excuse a lot of people fall back on. The algorithm's not working for them. It's changed. And it's just a matter, I'm sure you're going to agree, it's just a matter of adapting to it. It is what it is. You're not going to change it. Adapt to it. Figure it out, because there's a way to definitely get your message across and your brand across on social, regardless.
Technology always changes, and people hate change, and people are afraid of technology that changes whatever it is about them. And so I think that anytime there's a new piece of technology, we have this instinct like, oh, well, I'm fine. I got here doing what I'm doing. Why am I going to change? And if we're not
adapting
and removing our ego from where we are, then ultimately we're going to die, right? Darwin said it's not the strongest, it's not the smartest, it's the one most adaptable change. So yeah, you might be sitting on a salon empire. You might be big and strong and smart, but if you're not adaptable to change, it's not going to last. And so I think that's where we are with digital media in general. And then at a micro level, yeah, Reels are changing, but I also want to say this, like, what does it matter if I live in New Orleans, right? So if someone in Paris, France likes my stuff, comments on my stuff, what is that doing to my wallet? Zero. No one yet, maybe one day, no one yet has booked a flight from Paris to New Orleans and got a haircut with me ever, right? So these vanity metrics, the likes that we get used to, that's what we're actually searching for. That's very vapid. It's completely shallow. That doesn't pay your bills. You'd be better off, instead of having 300,000 followers, having 300 followers that are actually your clients or people in your community that can like walk in the door and get a service with you. So if you're feeling a kind of way about the algorithm engagement and stuff like that, just change your mindset. Like, how are you talking to your clients? How are you activating your clients, friends, and family to come into your space? People are like, how do I get new followers? How do I get new followers? And every time I say, you want to pick up 30 followers this week? It's going to blow your mind out there. You want to pick up 30 followers this week? Ask your clients to follow you. And everyone's like, oh, right. Yeah. They're like in my chair for an hour. They've got social media. I've got social media, but I'm not I'm not connecting the dots. Like social media is out there. It's actually just a way to be social with people who you interact with. You used to pick up the phone, now you send a DM. It's the same thing. It's just technology. And once you realize that it's just social and media, and if you lean into the social, then you'll have success. Then you're going to have success.
You just talked about that example where, here's a way to get more followers. And if people are asking that question, it means they're probably somewhat interested or engaged or want to learn more. But we definitely see, we talk about this a lot, we definitely see some resistance from stylists that don't want to engage in social or don't believe social is the way to go, or whatever the reason is for not doing it. That's a huge missed opportunity.
Sure.
That's pretty black and white. What do you think are the barriers for stylists to take that step forward and start engaging in social, to be social on social media, to help build their business? What are those barriers? What's holding people back?
I think, it's newness, it's change. It feels like I said with the salon, like I've got a thriving business. I've been doing hair for 20 years. I don't need to do social media. I'm fine, right? So it's sort of a little bit of that naivety and arrogance, I think. So I think that's one thing. I think also hairdressers are lazy. Let me rephrase that. I think humans are instinctively lazy, right?
We stick to what's comfortable.
We stick to what's comfortable, and so there's a little bit of this sort of like ingrained laziness in humans, coupled with hairdressers are just kind of like in their own head. They're like hyper creatives. And so like doing something that's outside of their comfort zone, that means extra work, I've got clients coming in, but they don't want to be on Instagram, right? So the idea of like finding a new client or finding a model, bringing them in to get that content, that seems like a bridge too far. I feel like as owners and managers, in a positive way, you kind of have to push us to do the things that are right for us in a way that's not going to, make us feel too negative about you. I relate it to going to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym in the morning. If I've got a trainer, I'm probably pissed at the gym because he's pushing me really hard, but I feel incredible when I leave about myself and about what I did. An hour ago, I had a different story to tell, right? So it's just in our nature not to want to do those things. And sometimes we need to be pushed in that direction. If you don't have someone to push you and you think maybe this conversation is resonating with you, look at it as a form of creative expression. We did a social media class today. Your staff was in here like Steven Spielberg filming bottles of shampoo and like staging things in themselves. I could tell, because we are artists, that the creative aspect of it was really rewarding. That's what we like to do. And sometimes we just kind of get in the rut of like paying the bills, gray root touch-ups, highlights, trims, the stuff that's important, that is paying my mortgage, quite frankly, but it's not feeding my creative soul. And so leveraging social media and content creation as an element to create energy and to feed that part of who you are as an artist, that to me is probably the best motivator. How you extract that, how you push someone in that direction as a manager, I think it's tricky, but there is something in them that got them into hair school that wasn't a gray root touch-up. I promise you. You just have to figure it out.
So I want to add a third one to that. And
sure.
Maybe you could give some advice to stylists that are listening to this right now. And the third one, because I've had these conversations with stylists, is I'm afraid to put myself out there. People are going to critique my work. People might have something to say about it that I won't like. What advice do you have to those stylists who are just maybe too self-conscious or just too afraid to put themselves out there?
This is extremely common. And, there's a part of it is perfection paralysis. And I suffer from that as well, where it's like, oh, it's not good enough. You want it to be perfect. In a way, it's like a form of your art. And you're like, I need it to be perfect, right? I don't think Nirvana was thinking about this when they made Nevermind. You know what I mean? Like, there is something right about art that is just immediately inexpressive. There is something right about that. What I like people to do is sort of change your mindset about who's the audience. And most people in social media don't think about this. They're posting and there's no consciousness of like, well, who cares? Like, why does someone want to look at that photo? You're like the crazy person talking to themselves on the street, basically, right? And so what they see in their feed is like beautiful hair. That's something that's coming out of Hairbrained or behind the chair or Elevate, things that are very high level, right? So their level of expectation of what's perfect or what's acceptable for social media is extremely high. And they're not doing the time investment to bring in a model, to spend an hour taking the picture and spend an hour doing the editing, like all the work that it would take to get to that level. So they're kind of in this like place where they're like, they don't feel like comfortable enough. The reality is being featured on Elevate or Hairbrained none of that pays the bills. Literally none of that pays the bills, right? So our focus, our idea is somewhere out there, some sort of like high level, vanity metrics and exposure to things that don't really matter, right? What matters is you connecting to your guest, them feeling more connected to you as a human, and putting yourself out there as a human. If you make a post and it's not perfect and it gets 30 likes, who cares? There's a billion people on the platform. Do you think literally anyone is cruising around Instagram like trying to find hairdressers that maybe didn't do a perfect photo or didn't do a perfect color so that they can troll them? Like, come on, there's bigger fish to fry out there. Like, so check your ego, check your perspective a little bit, because really all that matters is you connecting to your guest and bringing that guest and her friends and family back into your chair to grow your business. You need 300 to 500 followers that can walk in the door. If they don't see it, send them a DM. If they don't think it's good enough, if you don't think it's good enough, post again. Miss Betty's level of like comparison for like good versus bad is way beneath ours, right? She doesn't know what hairbrained is. Again, don't show Miss Betty Elevate Hair. Like, they don't know what that is. They know you, and they know their friends and family they follow on social media. So like, no matter what you do, it's going to be all right. Worst case scenario, they don't see it or they cruise past it. The content that's really going to get you a lot of traction are the pictures of you, the client duo, which everyone do this, you and your client in front of the salon. Those are the photos that are going to pop off. And if you're listening right now, think about your page right now. You're posting all this hair stuff, and then every once in a while you post an anniversary pic of you and your significant other, right? That photo does the best. Why? Because it's you. They want to see you out there. No one else that they're following is posting other people anyway. They're posting themselves, right? And I'm not saying you have to go and do a song and dance. That's not what I'm saying. But like, there needs to be some element in your social media that resonates with your clients, that speaks to who you are, because that's why they're in the door. Like, as a hair cutter, like, I focus all my time and energy on the back of the head. Graduation has to be perfect, right? And I'll spend like hours in my whole life. 80% of my time is focused on making the back of the head perfect. And the client literally sees it once for about 5 seconds every 6 to 8 weeks. And it's the thing I care about the most. So like, what does it actually matter? What does the client really want? They want to connect with you, focus your energy there, and you'll not only find more rewards, you'll find that it's less intimidating, there's less anxiety, and it's easier to create in that space versus, it's got to be perfect and I have to get featured in a magazine. Good luck.
And if 30 of your guests like your photo, like, that's a win.
Crushed. You did a great job.
30 people who actually come and sit in your chair or could come and sit in your chair are enjoying your content. They're getting value out of it.
100%.
So one thing that I wanted to ask is, what is the biggest missed opportunity for salons on social media versus stylists?
I think salons need to start looking at social media handles like they did emails and phone numbers. Like, this is another way to connect to your audience, to your clientele. You used to do, like, salon owners used to do these direct mail campaigns, right? And you would maybe, if you had a list, good for you. If you didn't, you'd buy a list, could cost you $1,000+ dollars. You would create some art, do a photo shoot, that cost money, or maybe you bought some art, you had to pay someone to put it on a postcard. Then you had the list, thousands of dollars. You did the whole production and got it on the postcard, thousands of dollars. Then you had to add the postage, thousands of dollars. And the ROI on that, if you had 10% return, if those cards, 10% of them came back into your salon, which would
be an incredible ROI.
Oh my God. Like, you should write a book.
Yeah.
You should write a book if that's what you got, right? So think about all the money that cost, and you can straight up just send a DM for free. You can take a picture of something or someone, throw some text in the app, just go into stories, throw some text on it, save the photo, post it on your feed. And then if Miss Betty doesn't see it, guess what you can do? Just send her a DM. I think we need to look at our clientele and capture that data, and in respect to where they're at. Some people are going to be more natively on Facebook. Some people are going to be more natively on Instagram, right? And a lot of people are on TikTok. TikTok's a little harder to monetize in this moment because it's not a social driven algorithm. It's a content driven algorithm. So I can't tell you what's going to go viral. And if you do go viral, I can't guarantee that the people in your local community are going to see that and walk in the door and get a service with you. I can do that with Facebook and Instagram, and I can do that with Google and YouTube. So I would try to capture data respective of where those people live in the digital space, And then I would just systematize it every day. 10 of my top 100 on Facebook, I'm checking their pages, liking their content. Congratulations, your son graduated from high school. Normal, social, human stuff. Normal stuff, right? The next day, it's another 10. You cycle through those top 100. For Instagram, the same thing. Cycle through. That would be my one thing. And my secondary thing would be pay attention. We're so quick to give the keys to the car to the front desk person, and there's no way in hell you would let them design your logo, lay out your salon. But what's effectively the face of your business to an entire generation, you're just giving it the chance. You want to know if your staff is engaging with your team. Here's how you spot check anyone. Go to their discovery page and look at it and take some screenshots. If what you see on their discovery page as a manager isn't your client's hair related or community related thing, and it could be the yoga studio next door. Like if it's like dog videos or, things that just aren't helping you develop network pathways with the communities that matter to drive people in your door, say, hey, I like dog videos too. And I do love dog videos. But when you're on the work page, I need for you to really focus on your list of people to connect with or people that are impacted in this community. On your private page, dog video all day. And please send me those dog videos on my private page because I love them too, just not on the salon page. And you can change your discovery in like really quick. Like you can just do a couple searches, go like some things that are in the community that are hair related, and all of a sudden your discovery page changes. But a big problem I see is that these owners think that the front desk person is going to fix it and handle it for them. And that's like the biggest mistake you can make.
Advice for the salon owner who doesn't have someone in place to do that per se, and working behind the chair. I hear a lot, I don't have time for it. Don't have time for social. Love to do it, but I just don't have time.
Or I don't have the budget.
Don't have a budget. And that's understandable. That's business. Advice for those people. How do they manage it? Where do you get started? How realistic is it for them?
I think first of all, do a reality check. Go into your phone settings, and you can look and see how much time you're spending.
Look at your screen time.
Look at your screen time and look at your battery time too. It'll show you how much time you're not only screen time, but like what's pulling, right? I promise you that Facebook or Instagram is going to be at the top. Or TikTok. I promise you. So the idea that you're not on there is not true. Reality is when you get done with work, the idea of writing a caption or like the stuff like we're exhausted speaking all day. We run out of words. Literally we run out of words. The brain can only process so much a day, right? So I recommend using the app's drafts, and now they just came out with the scheduling feature, so you can schedule in-app, which I recommend versus third party. So one day a week, you're just kind of, and this is for hairdressers or owners, but for owners, as you asked, collect photos. Here's my team working, right? Here's me working. Here's client duo, me and Miss Betty, right? Here's all the stuff I take all week. And then on Sunday, if that's your day off, plug in for 30 minutes and then build out post for the week. And you can save that in draft. Okay, here's what I'm going to do for Monday. Here's what I'm going to do for Tuesday, so on and so forth. If you're still feeling like you've got some energy that afterwards, go ahead and invest a little bit of time into your captions. Real quick, tag the people you tag. Doesn't have to be a lot. Most people don't read your captions anyway, but just say something in case they do. You don't have to be Shakespeare. Just say something, right? You do that once a week. You build out your drafts or you build out your schedule. And then the other part, because content is not as good as engagement. Engagement is always better than content. You get home, you're exhausted, but you want to cruise Instagram because that's what we like to do. Well, then before you start cruising, you open up your drafts, you hit share, all the tags, all the captions, all the things are there. And then you can hang out and be on Instagram, and that's double wins. One, you got your piece of content out there. Two, when someone likes or engages with your content, you're there to reciprocate. You don't want to post and ghost, right? Because when someone waves to you in the street and you ghost them, pretty rude, and essentially the algorithm works within those same social parameters. So if someone's engaging with you and you're not reciprocating, Instagram's just going to show them other people's stuff that will engage with them, and you're going to lose that eye. So be efficient with your time. Recognize that you're already on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, whatever the platform is, and then just be more efficient about it. And if you're really more Facebook than you are Instagram, well, then just lean into Facebook. You don't have to. You can do infinite things, and I get that too. But I think just creating a little bit of efficiency in your timing, understanding that engagement counts extra way more than just actually posting content. and just do what you can. Do what you can. And then if you start to get the rewards, maybe then you can start to budget for someone to do more of this. Or you can start to incentivize your staff to create more content so you're not the only one making that content.
So if you could get every stylist on any platform, because obviously there's many, many to choose from.
And it keeps growing. Yes.
And it keeps growing, exactly. There's more being introduced all the time. What platform do you think has the best impact for them?
I think that really Instagram still to this day does, because you have the most control in the sense that it is it's not a content oriented social media platform. It's a social oriented social media platform. So the algorithm works in the same way that we do, right? So if you and I are friends and we're DMing and you guys are DMing and Instagram knows that, then our content's going to get shared in the discovery page. Just much like if y'all were talking at a bar and I walked up, you would introduce me. It works exactly the same. So you can really game that. But people go to Instagram to shop. Like fashion and beauty, the number one, number two interest. And if you're out there, think about it. You've bought stuff from Instagram. So people are literally going to Instagram to buy your services. That's where they go. They don't go to your website. If they do hear about you or they maybe see you on Google, the first thing they do is go to your Instagram to see what's the vibe. Do I want to go there? So many people don't even list the city that they're in their bio. It's like people literally, I've heard people complain that they can't find a hairdresser in their community. They see great hair, but they don't know where they're at and they have a limited time because they've got a kid to find them. There are people out there that are frustrated. They see great hair, they don't know where to get it. And hairdressers are doing a poor job of getting themselves out there and making it easy for people to shop, right? So Instagram is basically a shopping page. There's no other space where you can really curate your image. Even like Facebook, like you can't really show yourself in the same visual way that Instagram is. It's a photo sharing app. So it just works for people who are visual artists. It doesn't matter if you're a tattoo artist, hairdresser, baker, landscape architect, like this app is for you and you have so much robust control. And the cool thing about it is once you start creating the content, you know who's really thirsty for content? Google. Google's really thirsty for content. So not only do you make sure your Google things are updated, but like posting on Google, that helps, right? So you can use the content you generate to not only post on Google, but also on Facebook and also on TikTok. And so you master that sort of platform and you get into the behaviors of content creation, and that content can be shared anywhere.
So many other places.
And if Instagram goes away, people are still going to want to look at stuff on their phones. So that behavior, that skill set doesn't actually go away. You just move it to another platform. So if I had to say anything, I think Instagram, just because it does all the behaviors, it scratches all the itches. And as an artist, it's fun. It can be fun. And it can be very stimulative to you as an artist. So that's why I think Instagram today in March of 2023 is the platform for you.
Well, and especially for service providers, it's definitely more geographically sensitive than something like TikTok or YouTube, for example.
Correct. Yeah. And which is just big, right? So I think that's really and we looked at some of the, searching places, what's around me. Like it's so easy to plug in and get rewards. People they think social media is out there. They don't think about it as social and media. Media is changing, right? It used to be newspaper, then it was radio, then it was TV. Now it's the internet. Tomorrow it'll be holograms. That's ever changing. Social interaction has been the same since we were in the cave as it is today. So lean into that and you'll find more success.
Awesome. Tatum, we could keep going here for sure, but I would love to go into like a second interview maybe down the road if you're up to it.
100%.
That'd be great because I think we could dive really deep into all these platforms. Would love to get more of your perspective on it. Please tell our audience, where can they find you? Where are you located?
Yeah. You can find me on all social media platforms as @Tatum Neill. Last name is spelled Neill, so a little different. And you can also find Elevate Hair pretty much everywhere. So Elevate Hair, the website, we make tools now. We have shows. Go to our Instagram page. We also have a TikTok. We also have a YouTube. So like we're everywhere. Tatum Neill, Elevate Hair. I'm easy to find. And I'm just a DM away. If you've got questions about social media or you want to try to get some sort of Elevate Hair activation, just hit me up. I'd love to talk to you about it, and I'd love to try to work something out, come to your town and do something fun.
Well, speaking of shows, I was going to ask, when can we expect Elevate to come to Winnipeg?
But I don't know. I need to see some venues, and it needs to be a lot warmer.
There you go. We'll figure that out.
We'll see you in July.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tatum.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. You can find all of Tatum's details in the show notes, and we hope you'll leave us a review, share with your team, and tune in next time.